Good evening everyone and welcome to round 4 of the Volkswagen Scirocco League here with NXTGEN Racing. We're round 4 of course at Interlagos that you can see drivers currently going round, qualifying due to start in 2 minutes time, but what a wonderful track we're at for tonight's race. Going to be really exciting to see. Got a number of drivers in the lobby for tonight, including the debutant, so you can see on circuit at the moment. That's Ruddo 24, which is really nice to have him making his debut in the series tonight. And whilst that's all going on, of course, I'm just going to load up my own stream just so I can see a couple of the comments. So if you just see a screen come up a moment, just having a quick read before my one's loaded. So Gibb saying, oh, Ruddo's here. And evening. Oh, I think Ruddo's just gone into the wall. He has indeed. He's joined Hirakram at turn 1 in the Senna S. Evening to you, Jordan. Hello, Hirakram, as well. Obviously got a really good championship fight shaping up at the moment after the opening 3 rounds. I'm going to run through the championship standings just to start off with. So in this lobby we have CRT Burnfry currently leads the way on the championship. Where is he at the moment? Well, he's not anywhere at the moment. So CRT Burnfry leads the championship on 52 points, but he's not here currently. Hirakram is second on 46 points, tied with Timmy DJG 94. You've just seen the sort of area just switch over, so that's good to see. There we go, you can just see the settings just being changed and ready to go for qualifying, which is good to see. And there you go, George just confirming that qualifying starts now, so we'll just get our cameras hooked up again. It's good. Continuing on from that, obviously Hirakram and Timmy on 46 points, second equal. In 4th place we've got D Whitehouse on 44 points after his race victory last week at Tsukuba. Bruce Lee Hardin is 5th on 37 points. JPH99 is 6th on 35 points, just 2 points behind his sort of, let's say, family member. D10 Piper is 7th on 30 points. He's in the pits at the moment as D10 Piper. 8th place is P Gibb 92 on 27 after his, well, having to stop some shenanigans from last week's race. Did P Gibb a sort of modern hero, I suppose you could call them, after last week's heroics. So Seamus is 9th on 23 points, and lastly Wace, who has yet to score due to various issues. Burnfry can't make tonight's race, so Burnfry, unfortunately for him, will not be leading the championship after this race, so it's up for grabs once again. We've been following Slow Seamus in the meantime, 1 minute 20 in qualifying so far, so going to be interesting to see who is going to be on top tonight. You'd look at Hirakram, of course. He's in the 2 races he's taken part in this season in the Scirocco League. He's won both of them. He missed last week, unfortunately, but he is in tonight, which is the key point. So let's see how Mr. Tesco himself gets on in the race. There's Timmy. There's Ruddo, new driver to the series, and we're going to ride on board with Ruddo actually. So we'll go on to his POV in 6th gear up to 150 mile an hour as they approach turn 1 for the Senna S. Braking down into 4th gear, into 3rd for Ruddo, clips the apex well, and then flicks the car right, nicely over the curb up into 4th. Good use of his gears from Ruddo. Right on 4th gear. When will he shift up to 5th? He does it coming down on the exit, so interesting line from Ruddo. Now up into 6th gear, he's probably going to be doing about 145 as he hits the brakes just before the 50 metre marker, down into 3rd gear. Comes through the Descida del Lago, which is this little pass, and it's flat through turn number 5. No problem so far for Ruddo. You can see Timmy just in the foreground as they come through turn 6. Difficult corner, got to try and get it. It's blind over the crest, but Ruddo hooks it up really nicely, uses the exit curb into turn number 8. Nicely done, and then switches it back in 3rd gear through turn 9 through Pinerino. This little tiny kink here, this right-hander, that's a corner, and then into the braking zone for turn 11. On the brakes down to 2nd gear, probably the slowest part of the circuit, and it's been a really tidy lap so far through Bico de Pato. Then comes through turn number 12, pretty straightforward, and then into the infamous Junkao. Down into 3rd gear, and Ruddo has hooked that up really nicely. He's going to get the benefit of a little tow from Timmy just in front of him. Through turn 14, and then in between this they've got the Aquabancadas, which is what this little straight is called, and then through turn 15, which is completely flat in any car. So what does Ruddo do as he comes towards the line? Well, he's P1. That's a great effort in that silver, well, rather I say silver, that black metallic livery with the silver alloys. So really good effort from Ruddo at the moment. Could upset the apple cart in the championship, because Hirocram second, Timmy just behind him third. Good effort from him. Bruce in fourth, D10 Piper fifth after the opening set of laps. That's a good effort from D10. D Whitehouse, our race winner last week, he's in sixth. Seamus seventh, JPH eighth, and he's ahead of P Gibb, who's yet to set a time. So it'll be interesting to see how Gibb gets on this lap. He's got a 38.6 to beat as he comes towards the line, but it doesn't look like he's going to do that. And sure enough, he doesn't. He does a 40.9. So time to find for Gibbo. He's certainly quicker than that. Gibbo, obviously, his nickname for those that are unaware. So, good opening lap for Ruddo. Can he keep his first potential pole position? He's got it provisionally, but there's still halfway through the session. We're watching Hirocram at the moment as he sweeps towards Junkow. He's set a personal best in the second sector. Oh, he's right on the curb. He used all of the road and a bit more through Junkow. Didn't look like he lost any momentum through the corner, so that could help him. Got a little bit of a very distant toe from Seamus in front of him. But what's his lap time going to be as he comes towards the line? He improves, but he's 2/100ths of a second off Ruddo's best time. So a little bit of time to find for Mr. Tesco. Timmy's come towards the line, no improvement. Bruce hasn't improved either. About D10 Piper now coming towards the lines. Another car that's crossed the line. That's D Whitehouse up to 5th. Jordan up to 6th as well. D10 doesn't improve for the time being. Seamus in 8th. And that is the running so far, just as P Gibb comes around this final corner. So the gap in the field separated by 1.4. Obviously Gibb a little bit further back than that, but I suspect he's going to improve on this lap and probably get to within 2 seconds, hopefully for Gibb's case, as he sweeps round turn 15. And that's much more like it from Gibb, up to 6th place on a 136.3. Tyre field covered by 1.4. First to 8th is covered by 1.1, so very close between the drivers. Ruddo, though, on his debut, with roughly 4 minutes to go, has the lead of qualifying. Could be a fascinating race between himself and Hirocram, who's got an even better slipstream this time from Seamus. He's much closer. So what will Hirocram do as he comes round the final corner? Didn't see his second split time, unfortunately. Got a nice slipstream. Is he going to improve? Not quite. He just misses out by a 10.5. Timmy covered towards the line, as is Bruce. Bruce improves his lap time. What about Timmy? Nothing doing there. D Whitehouse doesn't improve. Jordan now coming towards the line. What can he do? 34, 35. Good lap from Jordan, up to 3rd. Really good effort from the Boyd Transport driver. So he gets up to 4th place, rather 3rd place does Jordan. Good effort from him. What about everyone else though? D10 Piper still 8th place, hasn't improved on that lap that he did earlier on in the session. Drivers have enough time to complete 2 laps effectively now, apart from Gibb. I think he's a little bit too far back actually. Well, he might squeeze one in, I'm not sure, but he's improved his time again. He's within half a second now. Field exceptionally close at the moment. So Seamus has closed that gap too, as he just gets out of the way of Ruddo there. Obviously Ruddo running a liveryless car, just running that matte black. Simple but effective for Ruddo. It's working for him. You can see there's a little bit of exit curve the drivers can use coming out of Junkow, just where the gravel and grass is, and there's a little thin strip, and it's both times I've seen Ruddo and Hirocram using that coming around the final corner. So very consistent from Ruddo so far in the 35s. What's his new lap time? And he improves only by Well, 100th of a second, but it is an improvement nonetheless. Hiracamp still on a lap, or going on to another lap. Timmy up to third now. 1 lap to go, final lap for these drivers. Jordan in 4th place. I think that might be it for Jordan. Bruce Lee, and a little bit wide out of turn number 3 there. Got to be careful, doesn't want to go too far with that. Gibb coming around the final corner, so we'll cut back to him in a minute. D Whitehouse hasn't improved since that second lap that he did. Obviously lap number 1 was an out lap. D10 Piper in 8th. Let's see what Gibb's doing then. He's just coming around turn number 14. Gibb getting a lot of broadcast coverage. He's going to be chuffed with that. So he will get another lap, will Gibb. But as I say that, he's coasting towards the line, so I suspect that might be qualifying done for him. D Whitehouse then coming round Pinarino at the moment through turn number 9. Jordan, obviously he's finished his lap, so those 2 drivers have seen their checkered flag, so to speak. So it's Hiracamp at the moment coming round the final corner. Just a quick comment from JPH99 there, just saying, for no practice I'm happy with my pace. So you should be. That's a very good lap, Jordan. So what about Hiracamp? Can he fight back, get pole position? This looks like a quick lap. Oh, he's 1,000th of a second slower than his best. Can't do anything. Ruddo goes quicker again by a couple of thousandths. What about everyone else? Timmy doesn't improve. What about Bruce? He doesn't improve either. D Whitehouse has gone quicker but doesn't move. Oh, he does move. He's up to 5th, so he's ahead of Bruce Lee now in 6th. D10 Piper, our last driver to see the checkered flag. What is his lap time going to be? Sweeps round the final corner. Doesn't... Oh, he does improve just a little bit. And that is all the drivers done. So, Ruddo on his debut takes pole position. Really good effort. What an effort from him. He's going to be absolutely chuffed with that one. Hiracamp just 300ths of a second behind. Then Timmy just 2 tenths back, along with Jordan, who's 3 tenths. D Whitehouse getting a good effort there in at the end. He's up to 5th. Bruce Lee 6th. P Gibbs 7th, who's put a comment in the chat box. He's just said, first quali lap was my practice, so no wonder you did a 2 minute 27, Gibb. He's also put, Ruddo needs to change his G55 for a front wheel drive touring car. Jordan saying, it's not quite over yet, they can complete their current laps. I disagree, Jordan, they should be done by now, so... But Ruddo is on a lap, he is improving. Well, we don't know if he's improving because he's still got 2 tenths of a second penalty, so he's not going to improve on that lap. Hiracamp hasn't improved. Timmy's done for the day. As are, well, the new car park down at turn 1. What about D Whitehouse then? Can he improve? This looks like a decent lap, but it's not quite enough. He's in 5th. It doesn't look like anyone else is on a lap. Seamus is, but he's not going to go any quicker than that. So well done to Ruddo. Absolutely brilliant performance for him on pole position for race number 4. Great effort. Oh, here we go then, into the race. So you've got the jet black, liveryless Ruddo 24 on the left hand side, Hiracamp in the Tesco car on the right. Watch out for Timmy and Jordan on the second row in the green and red cars respectively. They're going to look to get a good start. 20 minutes on the right hand side, here come the numbers. And the race is live from Interlagos. It looks like a relatively even start between the 2 drivers at the front. Timmy already covering the inside from Jordan as they approach turn 1. Gibb looking to go around the outside of any carnage, but Hiracamp can't quite make his move. Jordan on the inside of Timmy's going to be on the outside. He has to slot back in for 4th place. D Whitehouse is 5th, Bruce Lee 6th, Gibb 7th, D10 Piper 8th. Everyone has stayed in exactly the same position, but Hiracamp putting the pressure on Ruddo already as they come towards turn number 4. Ruddo defensively already on this opening lap. He switches back to the inside. Let's get all the cameras available. And there we go. We've got them all ready to go. That's Gibb going wide in the background. He's down to 8th place. He's going to get overtaken by Seamus as well by the look of it. And sure enough, he has. What about Ruddo? He's just fending off Hiracamp for the time being. The top 5 drivers separated by a second at the moment. It's very close on this opening lap. Heracram really putting the pressure on. He wants to make it 3 wins from 3, but Ruddo already defending for all he's worth. Wow. What an opening minute that was. You can see Jordan just trying to look for a move at the inside of Timmy, not quite there. He's got to be careful. He's got D. Whitehouse just behind him. Has to be careful of that. There's Bruce in 6th, D10 Piper in 7th. All the cars lying astern though, really good to see. Gibb just lost a little bit of time, needs to try and clear that penalty somewhere. Might try and do that in towards turn 1 potentially if he's got enough slipstream. But this is where the fight's at now. So, here comes Ruddo. He's defending at the moment. Heracram are on board with. There's Timmy, who's got a better run than these two. A little bit of lag going on, but Timmy looking to try and make a move up the inside. Nothing doing there. Jordan getting in for the fun. Timmy's gone for a move up the inside. Heracram's going to try and go back over the curb. Little bit of contact between the two drivers. Timmy still on the inside through turn number 3. Who's going to have the momentum between these two? Timmy is going to have the slipstream. Tactics going on from Ruddo. Now he swings over to the right hand side. Timmy, can he try and make this move stick? Great racer between Heracram and Timmy at the moment. You can see D. Whitehouse is right behind Jordan, but Heracram keeps second. Wow, great racing between the two. D. Whitehouse looking for a move around the outside, probably won't happen. Jordan phases a little bit, but nothing major. So that was Snav as well earlier on in the race as they come into the braking zone. Ooh, Jamal lag going on. There we go. We got ourselves back into gear. Let's take those comments off. Actually, it might have been from my side. But D. Whitehouse still looking at the back of Jordan at the moment in time. There's Bruce in 6th. D10 Piper just lost the back of the train at the moment. He's trying to fend off Slow Seamus, and Gibb has lost more ground. But Ruddo, thanks to a little bit of squabbling behind him, has just opened up a 6/10 gap. It's not much, especially along this back straight. You can see the speed differentiation already between the two cars as we come round where this first little tag is on the understeer. 144, you can see 148 from Heracram, so he's getting the slipstream. It won't come quick enough unfortunately for the Tesco driver though. Down through the gears into 3rd for this quick Senna S complex. Jordan still running in 4th, D. Whitehouse 5th, Bruce Lee 6th. So a little bit of gap forming. They're not far away from one another. The top 6 covered by just 2 seconds. And then there's a 1 second gap back to Piper and Seamus, and then Gibb on his own currently. So time to find for everyone at the moment. But Ruddo, imperious at the front at the moment, leads the way. The number 24 driver. There's Heracram, who's being stalked by Timmy. And this is a point to note in the championship, of course, that Timmy and Heracram are level on points. With Bert Fry not being in tonight's race, one of these two are going to be leading the championship as things stand. At the moment, Heracram's going to take his championship lead back, but Timmy has been really impressive in the Sciroccos so far this season. What can he do? Just dropped a little bit off the back. Purple sector from Heracram, just saw that flash up very briefly. Jordan a little bit wide coming out of Juncow. You can use much of the curb, but D. Whitehouse was a lot cleaner. So D. Whitehouse right on the rear wing now of Jordan as they come through turn 14. We're looking as well towards the front because, in fact, D. Whitehouse is on the inside already. This is looking like a good clean move from the two cars. The 3 in front, line astern. Look out for Timmy going for a move up the inside. Here goes Timmy, he's on the inside. Trying to go for the same move he did before, but nothing doing there. D. Whitehouse gets past Jordan though, and into 4th he goes. So can Jordan use D. Whitehouse as a slipstream to get themselves up towards Ruddo and the trio at the front? Doesn't look like it, because Jordan's immediately going for trying to get that position back into turn 4. Heracram just running there. Ooh, I thought Heracram was going to be spat off into the barrier there. Little twitch coming off the curb. Ruddo still leading the way on his debut. Timmy in 3rd, D. Whitehouse 4th, Jordan in 5th at the moment. Quarter of the race gone. It's been action packed so far in the opening 3 laps. Bruce Lee just hanging on to the back of the group in his Person It Solutions. That's how I'll refer to it. D10 Piper's gapped slow Seamus, but Seamus been joined by Gibb now. If Gibb did more practice for the Scirocco's, he'd probably be further up the field. But that's a tale for another's time. So, what can D Whitehouse do? He's gapping Jordan at the moment. He's already got the gap out to 6/10 on since he overtook Jordan earlier in the lap. Does he have the pace to latch onto Timmy? They're within the slipstream of one another. Hiracram just closing the gap. Timmy with fastest lap currently. But it's very close between the drivers in terms of speed and ability. We know that Ruddo and Hiracram, Ruddo does drive a G55 in real life, according to Gibb, who's now up to 8th. We haven't seen it. Shame says just looks like he's lost a little bit of time somewhere. But Ruddo is now having the pressure applied to him by Hiracram. So Hiracram, after dropping Timmy, just got himself a nice little breather now as Hiracram to go on the attack for Ruddo for that all-important first place. D Whitehouse, after pulling away from Jordan, has been reattached to the front bumper of Jordan. So that battle for 4th place still going on. Bruce Lee Harden just hanging around there in 6th place. Just lurking really, waiting for any opportunity he can get hold of. D10 Piper in 7th at the moment. See the drivers really pushing the cars to the limit. You can see Ruddo just having the gap closed by Hiracram at the moment. See if Hiracram can close up to have a look going in towards turn 1. He's got a very good run, his Hiracram. Will he have a little look? Ruddo thinks about going defensive, then he sweeps across to Ruddo right at the end. Little jolt in and out of the slipstream from Hiracram. He gets a good run through the centre S, but there's no real overtaking opportunity through turn 3. Ruddo covers the line really effectively, but what about the slipstream heading towards number 4? Ruddo on the inside as we look at it. Brakes a little bit later than Hiracram and keeps the place. Hiracram did have the momentum but just couldn't get past. Good defensive driving from Ruddo at the moment. Timmy is a second back. Then it's the squabbling trio for 4th place at the moment. Wace joined the room and has now left, so after 4 races, Wace has 0 points. D Whitehouse in 4th though at the moment. It's got a lot of pressure from the family members behind. In 5th and 6th place, those two. Gibb up to 7th now, so he's got past D10. It's going to take a monumental effort from Gibb to get up to Bruce Lee, but he's got to try and fend from D10 Piper, who's back up the inside at turn 11. That's a really good move. They're going to be side by side through 12. Give each other just enough room, do the two drivers, and it's going to be on the brakes for Jung Kao. What position would you want to be in? Well, D10 Piper says thank you very much, he's up the inside again. But Gibbo, right there at the moment, in 8th, and number 92 riding with him at the moment. And Seamus isn't too far behind. Ruddo and Hiracram are swapping places further up the field. Try and cut forward to them in a moment. I don't want to try and cut away. D10 Piper breaks a little bit later. Keeps the position for the time being. Hiracram has got past Ruddo coming through turn 1 to 3 in the centre S. He goes defensive immediately, does the Tesco driver. Ruddo taking a couple of jolts in and out. And he's actually got underneath Hiracram by the look of it. There is enough room for the black Scirocco, and sure enough he's going to try and work this around the outside at turn number 6. Be a brave man that tries it. And sure enough, in a front wheel drive car there's not really much of an opportunity. Looks to switch back again, but not close enough. Timmy has closed the gap. D Whitehouse has closed the gap. So, half the race gone. Are we in store for a potential 6-car fight for the race lead? That would be fantastic. Timmy has latched pretty much onto the back of the front duo. D Whitehouse will need to do the same thing and hope that the cars in front just fight a little bit more. You can guarantee Ruddo's going to try it. He's had a great exit out of Junkow, has Ruddo, as they come now towards turn 14. We'll ride on board with Ruddo. Gets the slipstream. Hirakram goes as defensive as he can. Oh, looks to do a switchback as Ruddo, and he's got the line. Don't think he's close enough. Is he going to try a lunge? Puts his nose there, and Hirakram gave him room. So Ruddo looks to switch it back through turn 2. Now looks for the momentum coming out of turn 3, does Ruddo. Not quite close enough for a move just yet, but now he is. He's back in the slipstream, pulls out of it again. He's on the outside, very close to one another. They've got to give each other room to these two. Here comes Timmy now, watching from... Well, watch on board with Timmy, actually, because he's got a great view. He could see all of this. Ruddo, you could tell, pushing Hirakram through every single corner. He jolts to the outside, trying to get a better line through turn 6. In fact, is he just there? He puts a little wheel at the inside, a little bit of contact between the two. Ruddo forces a door open. Hirakram's still there on the inside. Timmy just has to bide his time, realistically. A little bit of contact through Pinarino, but Hirakram holds on to the lead. And here comes Timmy then, up the inside. That's opportunistic. And he's got the move done. Little bit of contact. Ruddo gets forced out. And Timmy up to second place. D Whitehouse joins in the fun, as does Jordan, as does Bruce. It's 6 for the lead. What a race this is in the Scirocco Lobby 1. Jordan running a little bit wide. Doesn't want to be doing that too often. Gibbs 7th. He's got back past D10 Piper. Seamus joins in the battle in as well. But here we go towards turn number 1. Once again, Hirakram leading the way, showing his defensive drive, and so far Timmy in second. He's going to look towards the outside. There's Ruddo. He's got D Whitehouse all over the back of him. He's on the inside as D Whitehouse. Oh, he's got very deep into the corner. I think there's contact between D Whitehouse and Timmy. There was. That's unfortunate for those two. Looks like D Whitehouse just went later on the brakes. There might have been a bit of contact, and Hirakram has gapped. As a result, he's a second clear. That might just be too big of a gap for this Dynamic 6 to try and latch back onto. Don't put it past Ruddo though. Jordan, as a result, up to 5th. Third place rather. He is going to be absolutely ecstatic. He's got Bruce Lee behind him, the recovering Timmy in 5th, and D Whitehouse just got it all wrong on the brakes. Oh, contact between the two, and D Whitehouse has been forced off the road. Timmy's gone flying off as well. Oh dear. Contact between the two. And Timmy's given up and he's retired. Oh, that's a shame. He was running well, and it was an accident, absolutely was. I think D Whitehouse hit the rear left quarter of Ruddo as he went to look for the move at the inside, and that just propelled him into the back of Timmy, who's going to be furious with what's happened. In the meantime, Bruce Lee Harding up to 3rd place, but his family member, Mr. Jordan, will want a first podium of the season with the boy transport driver. Jordan's got a good run as we come through turn 15. Bruce Lee no doubt will go defensive, which indeed he does. Oh, Jordan thought there was a gap there. There's a gap now, but it would take a lot to try and dive that one up the inside. Jordan stays in 4th. D Whitehouse, after that shenanigan incident that happened, he's now in 5th. P. Gibbs 6th, Piper 7th, Seamus in 8th at the moment. But I fear that that incident between D Whitehouse and Timmy has just killed off the battle, the big fight for first. Ruddo and Hirakram both very equally matched. 1.1 is the gap with 5 minutes to go. You're looking at 3, maybe 4 laps. I'd say 3 laps. It's going to be quite difficult. So the battle then, the main one, is Bruce Lee and Jordan. You know, Bruce put in a really good performance last week around Tsukuba. He's got a bit of damage, does Bruce Lee at the moment. On that rear left quarter, runs a little bit deep into the corner. So there's Bruce Lee, again, he's going to be under pressure from Jordan once more. These two have to be careful fighting too much because D. Whitehouse is closing the gap on them. Here comes Jordan. He's right in the rear bumper of Bruce Lee. Probably a couple of millimetres, if that. Will Jordan looks to take him over the inside? No. Thinks better of it. Decides to stay back. So, what will happen in the next few laps? We've got 3.5 minutes remaining. Ruddo still a second behind Hirocam. It's going to be difficult to pull that back. But just looking in the standings, let's not forget last week Bruce Lee took a podium for the first time during the season. Another one wouldn't go amiss for his championship chances. He'll be quite happy to get another podium, but I know that Jordan will want a third place. Despite not having done any practice, he's really pushing. You can see him flinging the car into corners. He's just got to get a good run through that final straight and time it, because that's where it comes down to. Timing will be critical. D. Whitehouse in 5th, Gibbs 6th, Piper 7th, Seamus 8th. Been an anonymous showing almost from Seamus tonight. But I have to say, he'll fight for another day, will the Irish driver. And I believe he switched colours a little bit on his livery by the looks of things. Looks like a sort of duck egg blue, silverish combo going on. I have to say, it's quite nice. Hirocam still leads though. He's got a second to Ruddo. Now, what about this time? Will Jordan look for a move? No, he sits behind him again. So Jordan, thinking tactically, will try and wait until the final lap for this, I think. These guys will have 2 more laps after the one that they're currently on. I don't think Jordan can wait too long though, it has to be said. D. Whitehouse can close the gap at any time. He's got the speed to do so. It's looking a little bit inconsistent at the moment, is Dave. He's got to try and deal with that penalty too, does Dave, which is going to be problematic for him. Jordan all over the rear spoiler of Bruce Lee at the moment. The person IT Solutions driver must be thinking, what can he do to try and shake off his family member? And Jordan must be thinking, please don't catch me, D. Whitehouse, because that's the last thing he'd want right now. Gibb in 6th. A nice set of points for him, providing he keeps it up. Along with D10 Piper as well. Just running around as a 7th. I don't think he can complain too much in that bright orange livery he's got going on. I think Seamus is just going to take it easy now. In fact, I think Seamus will probably wait for the timer to tick down. So he'll finish the race first before anyone else, I reckon. But Hirocam still leads as he goes on to his final lap. Ruddo has closed the gap to 8/10, but it's going to be monumental. Here goes Jordan then. He's on the outside as they approach the centre S. Can he do a switchback? He looks to do it. Hits the back of Bruce Lee. That's going to compromise his run through turn 3. But he's still close enough. Bruce Lee hasn't covered the inside quick enough, and sure enough, Jordan's on the inside. Bruce Lee squeezes. There's a little bit of door rubbing. I thought Jordan was going to go into the side of him. I have to say, that was... Ooh, he's gone wide as Bruce Lee. Jordan now, pack up the inside through turn 5. Will Jordan give him a taste of his own medicine? Probably not. He's a clean driver, is Jordan. He's on the outside. Bruce Lee on the inside, and they stay in the same position. D. Whitehouse looking to get involved, but he's got a penalty to deal with. Does Dave, the Club 100 driver. What a battle these two are having. Seamus has seen the checkered flag, so he gets a nice total of 9 points for the event. Does Seamus? But who is going to get this 3rd place? Absolutely hammer and tongue between the two family members at the moment for that final spot on the podium. Oh, Jordan didn't quite get the line the right way he would have wanted. He's still got an opportunity when he comes towards the final corner, but I'm going to cut back to Hirakram. He's had a fantastic race. He had to fight for it, and he takes another win this season. Good job from Mr. Tesco. Ruddo is second. Great effort on his debut. It's going to be Bruce Lee Harden who takes third on the line from Jordan. He gets fourth. D. Whitehouse is fifth. Gibb sixth and backwards, and D10 Piper will be the last of the classified finishes on this lap in 7th place. Wow, that was brilliant. Really good racing from the Scirocco drivers, but absolutely fantastic race from Hirakram. He drove excellently in this one. He should be very pleased with himself, and rightfully so. He had to work for this one, but he's done a great job. What a race. Fantastic that was. A couple of comments just coming in. I'm just going to give a quick check of them. He just said, Steve Whitehouse actually just saying, sorry to Timmy, hit the brakes and it just didn't stop. I think something happened there. It did look like a peculiar accident. I know it wasn't intentional in any way, shape or form, of course, but it was a really good effort from the drivers tonight. That was one of the best. That's been the best race this season for the Scirocco League. Now, for next week, obviously, we're not going to be running around this circuit. We're not going to do Interlagos twice, of course. We are, in fact, going to be racing at a different circuit. I'll tell you what that is in a short moment in time. But in terms of the championship, it's looking very good for Hirakram. He's going to be at the top of the tree again, and he'll have a nice big gap over Mr. Burnt Fry, because obviously Timmy didn't finish the race. We will be racing at, I believe it's the Red Bull Ring next week in the Scirocco cars, so it's going to be really fascinating to see how the drivers get on around there. But nevertheless, thank you very much for watching tonight's streams for both the McGann Trophy and of course the Scirocco League. We'll be back same time next week, of course, on the same channel on Twitch. These races will be uploaded to YouTube as well, so you get a chance to experience the fun on that. What I will say is, again, thank you very much for watching tonight. Do tune into our social medias for any more information from NXTGEN. Obviously, we have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and Discord. But wherever you might be in the big wide world, have a pleasant evening, day, afternoon, wherever you might be, and I will see you very, very soon.